this works because I haven't tested it yet. But today we're doing this very weird angle because I'm at the airport again, one of my favorite places. I used to call them liminal spaces, but recently I learned the term that a French anthropologist called Marc Auger, I'm definitely butchering his name, coined, and he refers to these places as non-places, which I also like because I used to always think it was like a liminal space, but I like the idea of a non-place because how does he describe it? He describes it as like spaces of like transience and change, where human beings remain anonymous. They don't hold enough like significance to be fully considered places. So, when people are in these non-places, they could be anything or anybody. And I do love that about airports. It just feels like, it's a space and time where, it's a place where time doesn't exist really, because there's like a certain thing I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like, I've always loved airports, and I don't know, maybe I'm weird for that, but enough about non-places. Today I wanted to read and respond to some of the answers y'all had sent in about expectations about your gender. And it's funny because I did get some people being like, gender doesn't even exist, so I don't really know why you're asking this question, just like it's not real. And you know what, I do agree with that. So I had asked this question about gender and what gender you identify with, and what you feel your expectations are based on that gender. And I did get a lot of those responses of being like, why is this even a question? And I fully and totally agree, but unfortunately we do not live in a vacuum, and society does attach meaning to perceived gender identities and norms around that. And I just think it's interesting because to me, I think previously I've stated, identify as a blob. So to me, I don't really believe that it applies, but I know that other people project their own ideas onto me, and I know that is a thing for other people too. So let's just get into it. I've just rambled on for way too long. I'm aware that most of, or a significant number of people that follow me and answered the questions are, I assume, men. So I'm just going to be assuming a lot of things, but let's just get into it. Okay, so this first one. As a man, I feel like I'm not supposed to get too emotional, but I be getting emotional as hell often. I cry at movies, I long for a genuine emotional connection with a partner, I yearn, etc. This one is really sweet and touching because, you always see these alpha male influencers on TikTok and Twitter and whatever, talking about the male loneliness epidemic and male suicide rates, and those are extremely important, but they don't actually get to the point of why those exist. And often the reason those things are perpetuated and exist is because of other men, what this person is describing about not feeling like he can't be too emotional or he can't even cry or yearn. It's because other men have told him that that's not masculine enough. I, as somebody who is perceived as a woman, I don't care if my male friends cry or not. I want them to be vulnerable and open with me. That means that we have genuine connection, as opposed to some stoic brick wall that I'm talking to. And it is often certain men that project these expectations onto other men. And I think it's important that most men realize this, and they realize that we're actually all together in this. Queer people, women, men are subject to the expectations and projections of a very small group of men that control a lot of things. And if we just band together and recognize that, then we could get a lot more done, and things like this would not be an issue. So this other one is, men have to be the ones to approach or chase the woman. Again, continuing on from the last one, this one is a little bit more complicated because yes, it is projected by other men, but I know a lot of other women also project it onto men, but that is also due to the heteronormative like structure of society, I suppose, and like how it's based. I mean, every movie, every song, every whatever, it's been telling us since we were young that this is how it's supposed to go. And also that is an expectation on women, because like it says that, hey, if a woman chases or approaches a man, she's fast or a slut or like easy, or like, there's like some kind of stigma attached to it. So that's an interesting one. But I do feel for this person, because I also know a lot of women and femme presenting people that do expect men to approach and chase them. And I don't necessarily agree, but, it is something we have to work on together. Oh, this one was from a trans woman. And she says, as a trans woman, I feel like people expect me to act super girly and deferential, but I don't really resonate with that. Or they always want me to bottom, but I'm a verse and a switch. I mean, this is like, I wish more like queer people had responded to this, because it really touches on the aspect of like gender really just being a made up concept. And, as a trans woman, you can just, this is me speaking not as a trans woman, obviously, so take it with a grain of salt. But as a trans woman, people definitely project something onto you. And I can imagine like trying to move away from the perceived masculinity that was attached to you at birth, or I don't even know. I feel like I'm like really poorly explaining this, but I feel like to escape from that, people expect trans women to be like ultra feminine, like highly feminine, because you have to be like the opposite of a man to prove that you're a woman, which is not true, because like what does it mean to be a woman in that sense? There's like a lot more fluidity and like ability to, like, we're just people, we should just be able to do and be whoever we are. But like I said, it's not a vacuum. We do exist in a society where things mean things, and even though what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman are arbitrary, created, subjective things, they do exist. And so I feel for this person, because maybe she's not very girly, maybe she's just a tomboy, maybe she's just like super nerdy or geeky, like, but that doesn't make her any less of a woman just because she doesn't like pink. Or like maybe maybe her favorite color is black and she only wants to wear that, and she only wants to dress in like baggy jeans and baggy t-shirts. But like, and then with the sex part, like, yes, the bottoming and the verse and the switch, like, I think what I've heard from friends that are trans women and that have interacted particularly with cis men in terms of sex, they are always expected to bottom. Honestly, it's also kind of interesting, because I've heard from my like trans women that I know that if they are into women, sometimes the women just expect them to be the top, which is kind of fucked up just because of their genitals. So yeah, I feel for this person too. This is like more about the masculine experience. I struggle with duality in my masculine while wanting to embrace certain feminine qualities that flow through me as a hetero-presenting male. I'm 6 feet, but skinny with a beard and a deep voice. I have a stoic nature about myself, but I'm an emotional empath and I cry, which others consider weak. Again, a lot of these, and like I'm going to read some more of them, but I think my answer remains the same as to what I said regarding the first one that we read, which is, a lot of this is a projection from other men onto other men. And I'm not saying it's not true that women don't uphold these qualities too, but women are also affected by projections that a certain group of men would be like, yeah, this is how men are supposed to act, and this is how women are supposed to act, and you have to act within these boundaries, otherwise you're whatever, you're a fuck up, or you're not enough. And yeah, to this person I just want to say, like, I know it's like easier for me to say, but I mean, I'm trying to live my truth and live my life the way I want to and be who I am, which is a blob. So you do you should cry, you should listen to whatever you want, you should embrace the masculine and the feminine, because ultimately they can't exist without each other, and one can't just be one of them, truly. So yeah, this one, another Thing about the masculine experience: stay fit, be ready for the next war. Survived Ukraine, now flying to Thailand tonight for a year to get fit again to go fight in Africa next year. But to be a man and to be a warrior. And this, I really, like, as somebody who's not really, I don't want to say, like, anti-war, because war is a very integral part of being human. I also recognize that we don't live in a utopia, and like a lot of these things are essential. And I can't imagine the expectation that this is, because I am also like very anti-war in the sense that I would not last in a war. Like, I'm not doing that, and not out of like weakness or anything. It's just not something I have any interest in. Like, I don't, like, I think I would, not to be like hyperbolic, but I would literally rather die than go to fight in a war, because, yeah, I don't know if that's weak or not, but again, it's a projection. And to this man, like, I just say, like, good luck, I guess. And I hope you make it back safe. Oh, this one I really liked. I'm finally accepting myself as non-binary. I never fit into any box completely, and I just mimicked what I thought was expected from me. One gender role was never enough for me. And that's exactly the whole point of this video, or like my reason for even reaching out to people and asking to tell me about their expectations, because this is truly how I think. And I also don't really like labels, because I don't really care. Labels are something that, humans use to categorize things, because we need to put things in boxes, and like if we don't have a name for things, we don't understand them. So I understand labels, but so yes, I would probably also consider myself non-binary. And this person very eloquently stated what I feel too. Like, I don't really fit into one box. Like, yes, I look like something on the outside, but I don't feel like it. Like I said in another video before, I don't wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I'm a woman. Or like, I don't wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I'm a man. But it's none of those. I just wake up and I'm like, all right, we're doing this again. We're awake. Let's get through this. And honestly, that's also what I think more people should get more comfortable with. Like, we need to be moving away from binaries and boxes and labels. And I know inherently as humans we need labels and binaries to exist and understand things, but I think there should also be fluidity, in the sense that we can be both and everything. The masculine and the feminine and the nothingness exists together, and we need to all embrace it. Without embracing it, we're never going to be complete whole people. So yeah, I really like this one. It's like me. Okay, so I'm just going to read a few. There was a lot of stuff that related to, the masculine experience and men feeling like all these things that are projected onto them. And I'm just going to read a lot of them, like, in a row, and then kind of discuss it. So this one said, having to ignore one's inner emotions and sex drive while having to earn more and stay aggressive and competitive against other men. Another one said, as a man, it feels like I'm constantly told what I can and can't consume, especially with music. I'm told that I can't listen to artists like Clairo, Lana, and that I have to only listen to male artists because I don't get female music. But I love their music. This person says, making enough money to provide for myself and others, strong masculinity, being physically strong and aesthetically pleasing while having good mental health. Another person said, always approaching first / initiating, being somehow both excitingly dangerous, masculine, but also safe when flirting, dating, being physically strong, decisive, projecting confidence that I don't have, making enough money to spoil women on dates and still live lavish / being tall, lol. I'm a straight male. I was born male. I guess marriage. I tell people I don't want to be married, and they get surprised, but that's because of personal reasons, not any expectations. And being the leader in a relationship. So a lot of, like, these things that I've read, I am assuming come from men, and there's a general feeling that resonates amongst all of them, which is a projection onto what being a man means. And it means to be strong, it means to be a leader, it means to be making enough money, it means to be the breadwinner, it means to be stoic, not have emotions, it means to be like hard and tough, and that's not what humans are. Categorically, humans are not just hard and tough. We are a multitude of things. And I think the thing we need to start examining is like, where do these projections come from? And I think I would like men, even like the men in my life, to like, and I think a lot of them do, but other men that follow me even, and like are maybe watching this, to like really think about it and think like, who puts these expectations on me? And yes, sometimes it might feel that like these expectations come from women, like, you know, maybe they expect you to pay for everything on a first date, or they expect you to approach them, etc., etc. But then you have to go to the root of these expectations. Where did that actually come from? And what do the alternative of those expectations mean for women? Like, if women started paying for stuff, would it make you feel emasculated? If women approached you, would you be into her? Or would you think she was a slut or like easy? You know, you have to look at the converse of both of these things and what the two sides of the expectations are, and ultimately who is the one creating these and projecting them on to people, because we're all just people. And yeah, there's just a very small number of people that are benefiting from these binary heteronormative stereotypes. I'm talking about like the alpha males, the trad wives, I don't even know what any of these other like terms are anymore, to be honest. There's so many. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. And to finish off, I just wanted to read one or two more. So I see this one was, I feel that my gender is rather irrelevant in the world of today, and that there is generally too much of the emphasis on these individualistic identity politics. Now, I don't know if this person identifies as male or female or something else, but I studied sociology. I used to also feel that way about it, identity politics, but then I realized, you know, identity politics are like, as much as we would like to move away from them and try to think about the collective, I think like the individualistic politics and projects are kind of important to even approach the aspect of community, because how are you supposed to work on community if you don't even know who you are? And yes, it might seem arbitrary and silly to some people, but you need to have these understandings of yourself and figure these things out for yourself to like decide, this is who I am, this is how I can help, this is where I stand in the existence of myself in this world, and this is how I can benefit my community and others around me. And I do get that there is maybe too much emphasis on it sometimes, but I do think it is important, and I think like moving away from it completely would be detrimental to like general community projects and humanity coming together as a whole, actually, because it all starts with the individual. And lastly, I like this one because it was funny, and like I think it's nice to finish on. So this one was, I know how I'm supposed to answer this, but I literally cannot understand feeling innately tied to any concept of gender. It's all made up. Go have some ice cream and hug your friends. And honestly, yes, do that. It's like getting to be spring now. The weather's kind of nicer. Go outside, hang out with your friends. Don't get too caught up in things, because everything does kind of suck right now in the world. But you know, if we work on making ourselves happy and somewhat functional and not hurting other people, I think we'll be all right. Slowly, surely, maybe. I have hope. And yes, I also don't feel innately tied to any concept of gender. But I welcome projections and assumptions onto me, because I cannot control those. My body is mine, but the perception of my body does not belong to me, and I need to be okay with that. And I think if a lot of people were more okay with that, we would just, I think it's easier for me to say, because I have the body of a cis woman, and a lot of people perceive me as a cis woman, so obviously it's easy for me to say that. But I do think if we just got over the fact that people are going to perceive us how they're going to perceive us, and as long as we get to the root of getting to know ourselves and who we are and being sure in that, and that's how we start like to make some change and actually do some good. Because It doesn't matter if you who's watching me think I'm like ugly, or if you think I'm like a hyper feminine goddess or whatever, or if you think like that I'm a whore or whatever you think about me. It doesn't matter, because I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I like. I just know who I am, So see me how you want to see me. I can't control that. You do you. Just, yeah, go have some ice cream, hug your friends, defeat the concept of gender, just be yourself, listen to whatever music you want, and have a good time. I should probably get ready for this flight. So, bye.